So we have a movie, May 6th, 2022, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Oh man, after watching this one a few times, it definitely changed my opinion. So yeah, you give it a little laugh, a little pound it.
Well, my problem is I only watched it once.
I watched it multiple times and actually liked it more the more I've watched it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here, why don't you start us off, Zach? What'd you think?
This is disrespectful because y'all got Eternals at C.
He gave it an F.
Well, his opinion does not matter. Let me stop. Because I'm a fanboy, like I appreciate story more than setup.
Mm-hmm.
And the story in here wasn't great, especially since Doctor Strange had no arc. And America Chavez is one of my favorite new comic book characters, and they Disney-fied the hell out of her. She's supposed to be like a Black Latino Beyonce mixed with Cardi B, and they gave us Selena Gomez.
That is a good comparison.
Wow.
The actress is sweet. I follow her on Instagram. I love that she's getting the roles and she's great. And hopefully she turns into the character eventually. But it felt like Disney was like, you got to Disney-fy this character. I like the movie overall. I'm going to put it in a B because they did a lot of cool stuff in the movie. Even though I didn't like what they did with Wanda because I love WandaVision. Y'all know I put it in the S tier. I love her character arc. She was the villain, but there was some redeeming factors, and then they turned her completely crazy. Her motivations were way more shallow. She just kept saying, "I'm a mom," and I was just like, but giving us the Illuminati, and some of the multiverse stuff, even though he didn't do a lot of multiverse stuff, it was just we saw some really cool stuff in this movie. So I'll give it a B.
Okay.
What about you, Brandon? You gonna move it? You gonna change it?
I'd say the same. I'll give it a no. I'd say the same. I'd give it a B. One thing, one of the downfalls of the MCU for me is there's not a whole lot of movies out there that feel directly influenced by their director. There's a couple here and there. But you can't really look at them and say they have like a specific style when it relates to said director. That said, when I heard that Sam Raimi was coming on to direct this to replace Scott Derrickson, who had stepped down from the first movie, and they were going to bring in Sam Raimi, I'm like, holy crap, this has the potential to be awesome. I think it's one of the MCU movies that's more influenced by its director. This is a Raimi film through and through. I dare I say it, this is like Evil Dead repackaged as a Marvel movie to me. So I really appreciated that it really had its own voice. That said, they didn't do enough with the multiverse element that was promised and kind of touted throughout. They were saying this was going to have more of a horror vibe to it, which they did have here and there, but I don't think they really ran with it, especially with a director like Raimi brought on board. It didn't really deliver on a lot that was promised. They made, like Zach said, they made Wanda very much a generic kind of cookie cutter villain to the point where I borderline couldn't stand her this time. It was just never, kind of like I said with Moon Knight, it was never quite what it could have been. I think Raimi was so focused on giving it his own distinct style and putting his own stamp on it that he kind of forgot about everything else, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, all right, keeping it at B though. Brian, what do you think?
So the first time I watched it, I was like, "What the hell?" and then the second time I watched it, I said, "I see where they're trying to go." And then like the third time I watched it, I was like, "This is not that bad," but it would have been much better if Scott Derrickson would have still had this movie. If he would have directed this movie, I think it would have been better.
Yeah.
Because the first one,
me too,
Doctor Strange was so good, so intelligent, so insanely detailed. How great they wrote that character in the movie. It was perfect.
Top tier MCU movie.
It is literally, the story was amazing. I was in love with what they were doing with it. And I was so in love that I was excited to see this. That's kind of what the problem was. I was so anticipating. And then they kept pushing the movie back. And they kept on giving us tidbits about what could be in this movie. And then they cut so much out of the movie. So it didn't matter what it did. It was never going to reach the heights that we thought it was going to get. So when I sit back and look at it through the lens of not expecting anything and just watching it, I say it's a fine movie that should have been a superior movie, so it gets a B. It was an okay movie, just it should have been a superior. Everything that the direction they were going to go was amazing. I think Raimi was the wrong director. And if you're going to do a Raimi film, go full horror, go full out.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're going to do it that way. Just don't half-ass it. And that's what it did. It half did it. It was like, we're gonna go this way, but we're gonna Disney it. No, don't. Explore the characters, explore all the variants, and make it a badass movie. And they just did.
Yeah.
Give Doctor Strange a character arc.
Something. He has nothing.
Yeah. And I think we'll hear I got you. So Andy, right off the bat, C for cameo, I guess, because this is really a Wanda movie with Doctor Strange being the cameo in it. Then I'm gonna skip horror for a second because I'm gonna get back to that. But House of Nerds, Derrickson wanted to do a true horror film with Doctor Strange too, but Feige nixed the idea, so they brought in Raimi for horror influence as a compromise. Which you can see, like it should have been. This should have been amazing. This should have taken the MCU into a different direction. We should have been able to get Blade and all this other stuff from this movie because it was so much horror and just was not enough. How dark they got. Not enough Campbell. That's always the case. That's always the case. But yeah, like you said, like they half-assed it, and that's kind of true because like it was half Raimi, half Feige. It was like, and you can tell what parts were Feige and what parts were Sam Raimi. You know, but
all different.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think if it would have been Derrickson, I think he would have went the same route as maybe Raimi, but
he would.
I don't know. I think he would have fought it harder, which is probably the reason why he left in the first place. He's like, well, I can't make the movie I want. I'm out. You know, same Edgar Wright did the same thing.
It would have taken it to a different level. All the MCU would have we would walk out of the movie theater like, wow, where are we going now?
Yeah.
Because we could go any direction.
Yeah.
And that's how I should have walked out of. When you opening up the multiverse and having all these character arcs that could go anywhere, we should have left thinking they did it. This could have saved all of Phase 4 if it was an unbelievable movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But Horror Geek said, I don't care for either Doctor Strange movie, which is crazy. Because this one I can understand why some people might have issues with. But that first one, every time I watch it, it's just like, oh man, it's just so well done. You know,
if it's on right now, I'm gonna watch it.
You know what though? There are a lot of people that don't like that first one. There are a lot of people that think it's too trippy or it's too much.
To Inception,
Inception is like a top 10 movie of all time. How can you even say Inception?
A lot of people don't like Inception,
because they don't like thinking. Use this thing on top of your head.
Civil War is one of my favorite MCU movies, and I had a girl tell me I did not like that movie, and I was like, "Why? I don't want to see them fight."
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like people just have their reasons for some reason.
Yeah.
Sorry,
People
Brandon, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying people who say it's Doctor Strange is too trippy. It's like pick up a Doctor Strange comic.
Let me see. Speaking of, because I've been watching Community, so this popped
up. To bring it up.
Yeah.
I didn't get Inception. Oh,
you said you started saving the files.
There's so many layers.
Right.
I love that, man.
Yep.
I can't wait till he shows up as the Prowler. That's gonna be amazing.
That'll be good.
Yeah,
that'd be good. But
that will be up.
But House of Nerds, I just realized I graded Loki D. I meant B. Okay. All right. B's a lot better. B's a way better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we totally understand. Now we feel better about it.
And the Doctor Strange movie can never be too trippy. That's what that's how I am, man.
Because
I expected a more trippier movie than the last one.
Thank you.
It's full of magic and all. It's a different type of MCU movie, and this should have just like the first one did. I feel that this one should have opened up the door to even more magic, more fantasy, more craziness.
Yeah,
more of his supporting cast, more people from his side of the world.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
instead of making Wong,
that's another
instead of making Wong like like he's like a side character, or he's a comic relief. Well, let's give him more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'll just be quick. Mine's a B. This
one. I was just gonna say it was never as trippy as it could have been. That's all I was gonna say.
It should have been.
Yeah, it should have been. It should have been more. There should have been more multiverse. There should have been more Doctor Strange. There should have been more horror. And Wanda should never have had a redeeming arc at the end of this movie. Let her redeeming arc be in another movie, another show, whatever. Be full villain if you're gonna be full villain. Redeem yourself later. That's just me, but try to keep that one quick. But I like B too. It's just middle of the road, and it could have easily been A, maybe even S. But
it should have been S because anything with Wanda should have been that good.
Yeah,
because Wanda
is
is
so cool. 100%.